Most of the time, I do these free play videos in 1 or 2 takes. Every once in a while, there's one like I'm trying to do right now. It's like 15 takes. My mouth is spitting. It's just a nightmare. Let's talk about the Suns and the Blazers. Tuesday night play-in action in the NBA. And I don't care if you want to call it play-in, playoff. We expect playoff level intensity as the Suns battle the Blazers. Looking at the Odds Logic live odds screen. And by the way, guys, get a free trial. oddslogic.com/Teddy. Free 7-day trial to get live odds in your pocket, man. It makes a huge difference. I use it every day. oddslogic.com/Teddy. So anyway, oddslogic.com, we got Phoenix -3, total sitting 217. Some of the sharper books are at 216.5. We've seen nothing but under money for this ball game. We've seen nothing but Portland money in this ballgame. Phoenix opened 4. The board was painted 3.5. Now it's painted 3. There are even some 2.5s out there. So lots of money for the underdog. Lots of money for the under. What do we do with this one? Both teams appear to be very interested. Sometimes you get these play-in games where one team is interested, one team's young and hungry, the other team's a little bit veteran. No, they're not winning, 3 series coming out of the bottom end of the play-in. And you see those disparities in urgency. This is not one of those scenarios where, from all indications, Phoenix is interested. From all indications, Portland is interested. So we expect that playoff level intensity for this ballgame. And from a side standpoint, look, Phoenix did not play their best basketball down the stretch. This team was a major moneymaker for anyone who supported them. Throughout the winter months, December, into January, into February, they were consistently undervalued in the betting marketplace in a bunch of different roles. They were capable of stepping up against good teams. They were capable of beating up on bad teams. The Suns made their backers a fair bit of money. And then the injuries struck. It was Devin Booker got hurt, and Dylan Brooks got hurt. And, we had Gillespie in and out of the lineup, and Grayson Allen in and out of the lineup. And they were not the same team down the stretch that they were earlier in the campaign. And that's certainly reflected by the Portland money that's been coming in and by the fact this number is as short as it is. These two teams played, a couple of months ago. We're probably looking at a very different. Well, you can use recent examples, but you really can't because these two teams played back right after the All-Star break. And that game was as ugly an NBA game as you've seen at any point this season. 92-77 final score, Portland with the win and cover in Phoenix. But that was when the Suns were at their injury-riddled worst. They really didn't have anybody in the lineup that night. And it showed. That's not going to be the case tonight for Phoenix. And again, that 92-77, that total was 224.5, and Portland was a 4-point favorite in Phoenix, which speaks to where the Suns' injury situation was at that point in the season. That was then. This is now. Very clearly. We're not betting a game that I wish we could bet games that we had the final scores from years ago, but that's not the case. So when we look at Portland down the stretch, and the Blazers played much better than the Suns did down the stretch. They came in to the postseason, 7-3 in their last 10 ball games and winning in all kinds of different roles. That being said, when they went on the road and faced playoff teams, with the exception of that one game against the Clippers, they lost against the Spurs, they lost against the Nuggets, they didn't come on the number against Denver. But it is a young Blazers team without Jeremy Grant, by the way, who's one of their veterans, who's not going to be able to suit up for them. Grant's been out of the lineup for Portland. He's not a huge loss for them. They played plenty without him. But when you talk about veteran presence for a team hitting the highway for a playoff/play-in game, I might like Portland more if Jeremy Grant was in the lineup. And I might like Portland more if they were still +4 or +3.5 as opposed to +3. This is not a game where I'm excited about the side because Phoenix didn't play their best ball down the stretch. And I like the character of that Suns team. I really do. But when you're talking about a squad that had problems against this particular opponent and kind of limping down the stretch, I understand they beat OKC in the finale. It doesn't matter. They had more than their fair share of rough showings. And again, from a point spread perspective, the team was a disaster. They lost 6 in a row, ATS, prior to finally covering in the finale against the Thunder on the last Sunday of the season when OKC didn't play anyone. So it's not like Phoenix has been appropriately priced of late. They haven't been. All right. They've been overpriced in recent weeks. I'm more interested in the total in this game than I am the side. I'll be perfectly honest. From a side standpoint, this number feels about right. My number for the game was in that same 3.5, 4 range that the markets are right now. And obviously, we're sitting here looking at 3. So my number says look a little bit to Phoenix. But again, if the line's 3.5 or the line's 3 and my number says 3.5, that's not you got to bet that. It's not. So my number is comparable. And again, we look at the recent history of these play-in games, and the home team's 14, 15, and 1. That's pretty close to 50-50 as you can get over the last 5 years. What we have seen in the first round in these play-in games is a lot of unders, a boatload of unders. The under has been only once in the last 5 years. There are more overs than unders in these play-in games, and the total of it, 11 and 19. 11 overs, 19 unders. So, again, modest sample size, 5-year window, but we have seen the unders come into play, and we've seen plenty of under money for this game. And the under makes sense. All right, obviously you expect playoff intensity. And we look at Portland very quietly, way underneath the radar. Blazers, defensively, down the stretch, they were number 1 in the league in defense for extended stretches. I think they were number 3 after the All-Star break. I mean, really good defensive numbers. Let me just double check they were number 3 after the All-Star break. Number 3 in the NBA. OKC was 1. Atlanta was 2. San Antonio was 4. And there's Portland sitting at number 3. So they have some great defensive numbers down the stretch. And Phoenix, certainly not a team that pushes pace. And obviously the last time these two teams played was 92-77. So you can make a lot of cases for the under in this ballgame. I'm not making that case. In fact, we're going to look the other way for this one. Maybe I'm overthinking it. All right, I've overstunk stuff before. But prior to the 92-77, a game where no one was healthy and it was as ugly and offensive game as either teams had played all season. These are the other matchups between these two teams in recent years. We got 130-125 earlier this season. In February, November, 127-110, 121-119, 127-108, 116-109. All of those, each and every one of them would go over tonight's total. In fact, 4 of those 5 did cash over. So series history is nothing but overs in this one. And for all the defense that Portland has played, this is what the markets are missing. They're missing the pace of the Blazers. Yes, they're a really good defensive team. But when a really good defensive team plays with pace, it's a different scenario. A very different scenario in terms of how many points are going to be scored. Now, I wouldn't argue conceptually with taking a first half over in this ballgame. I thought about giving a first half recommendation, and 111 and a half, the prevailing number, that might be the better way to go. In fact, I want some full game over, but I do worry about a fourth quarter that bogs down, and you get one of those 38-point fourth quarters, and you're overshot to hell. But first half, I'm expecting some pace, I'm expecting some offense, and I'm expecting some fouls. You put that trio together, total's 111 and a half. Let's go first half over the number. Blazers and Suns, Tuesday night NBA play-in action. Thank you so much for watching Wager Talk TV. We really appreciate the likes, the comments, the follows. I do my best to get in there every day and answer comments. So by all means, tell me what I'm wrong about. Tell me what I'm right about. Share your opinion. We appreciate it. Thank you. $5 Tuesday at Wager Talk. Check out my best bet in the NBA. Only $5 for tonight. And of course, you're on play in MLB as well. We got great longer-term packages for the postseason, plus 93 units in the NBA over the last 4 postseasons, 4 consecutive 55% plus postseasons for the clients. Every year, at least 10 units, at least 55%. And it's been good. Long-term NBA playoffs. Get on board right now. Check out my homepage, www.buzz/TC. This is the website, wagertalk.com. Have yourself a great betting Tuesday, and we'll do it again tomorrow with more free play content right here on Wager Talk TV. Cheers.